Hello, and thank you for joining me today. Well, this is the Thursday, January 20th edition of our video devotionals. Thank you so much for joining us today. And we call this Trusting Thursday. And we're trusting the Lord, of course. And at some point, if you're a born again Christian, you put your trust in the Lord for salvation. So from then on, of course, we trust Him for all the things He wants us to do in our lives and how we can serve Him. So we're a little bit later today. It's about 25 minutes till 5 as I'm conducting this particular video here today. And we had a funeral, so we had a lot of preparations before. Of course, the service itself at 2, and then things afterwards, things that needed to be done. And so we're glad to be able to help in any way. Precious lady who passed away, and she's with the Lord now. And so we want to be in prayer. If you can remember the Conley family, I don't normally mention names, but I want to that's their last name, Conleys. If you can pray for them, I know they'd appreciate it. And then, of course, we got another funeral that's coming up on Tuesday. So be in prayer for us as we try to be a blessing and help to that family also. So again, let me just say to everybody who watches these videos, thank you so much. We appreciate you. Some of you folks we know, some of you I don't know really. I think we picked up a new subscriber in the last day or two. Nonetheless, we're so glad that you've joined us, and we're trying to be a blessing to you, and you certainly are if you watch these. So pretty much pretty purely biblical, I guess you could say. We add a few stories, some experiences, but for the most part, we don't get off the path of the Bible much at all, and we try to keep it pretty pure that way. And I know that's going to help you. So let's jump into things. We're reading through the Bible in one year's time. So as we're reading through the Bible, there's passages that I see kind of jump out at me. Some of them are pretty familiar. Sometimes they're almost hard not to mention them. Sometimes there's too many and you have to narrow it down to one. So today we're going to be in Exodus chapter 14. We're going to look at verses 13 and 14. So Exodus 14, verses 13 and 14. So I'll let you find that, and then we'll just jump right into it, okay? All right, so at this point right here, the children of Israel have left Egypt. They're en route to go basically to the promised land. But Pharaoh decides he's going to go after the children of Israel and bring them back. That's his plans. And so the Pharaoh's army's coming in hard on the Israelites. They get to this point where they're kind of hemmed in, as we say. And they start complaining to Moses, it'd be better for us to be just serving the Egyptians rather than bring us out here, and we're going to die out here. And notice what Moses says here in verse 13. And Moses said unto the people, Fear ye not, stand still, and see the salvation of the Lord, which he will show to you today. For the Egyptians whom ye have seen today, ye shall see them again no more forever. The Lord shall fight for you, and ye shall hold your peace. Actually, verse 15 is the key verse here. Now notice what happens. What Moses says is very profound, and it sounds like the right thing to say, and I think it is the right thing to say. But notice what the Lord says to Moses here in verse 15. And the Lord said unto Moses, Wherefore criest thou unto me, speaking to the children of Israel that they go forward? And of course, he lifts up his rod, and the Red Sea is going to part and open. But I think it's interesting here. Of course, the people they turn on Moses. You know that's going to be a common thing as Moses is leading these people. You know, if you remember, he didn't want the job to start with. God says, "You're the man." He says, I can't speak. He says, you're going to speak, or I'll have Aaron speak for you. But it sounds like Moses did a pretty good job of speaking. Then he gets to this point where he's going to lead these people. The Lord's leading them, but he's kind of the human instrument here. And then they look and see that they're about to die is what they think. If Pharaoh's either going to kill them or take them back, they think he's probably going to slaughter them out there. And then, of course, Moses says, hey, just wait and see what God's going to do. But isn't it interesting that as he's speaking that way, the Lord says unto Moses, Wherefore criest thou unto me? And that they go forward. So I guess here's my take on this. And again, I try to not go outside the bounds of what I really think is being said here, because I don't like to conjecture too much. I think we can do that. And I know there's things, we can get from the scriptures, and I just try to be careful with it. But I look at that, what Moses is saying is, hey, we're going to trust the Lord here. But it came a point where he said, look, stand still and see what God's going to do. And God says, why are you crying to me? Tell the people to go forward. So when you look at your life, I guess here's the way we have to look at it. Number one, we do have to trust the Lord, okay? There's things the Lord wants us to do, and sometimes it's standing time and just kind of take you stand, and there you are. God says, stand fast in the Lord and stand as an army of the Lord, as a soldier of the Lord, rather. There we find out in the book of Ephesians. But in this particular case, the Lord says, Moses, why are you crying to me? Tell the people to go forward. And of course, I'm sure they're thinking as they're looking at this great body of water. So in the process of that, of course, the Red Sea opens. So I guess here's what I'm trying to say. There's a time to stand and then there's a time to go. And let's make sure that if God's saying go, let's move. And oftentimes that can be in situations where we don't know what to do. But when God says, tell the people to go, I think we just always need to be ready to say, okay, Lord, when you give me the green light, then I'm not going to hesitate at all. The problem, of course, these people, if you back up a little bit, they were doubting Moses that God had even brought them out there. And, they just kind of eliminated God out of the process. You start doing that, you're going to be in a whole heap of trouble. And you're going to turn on people for sure. So they had to trust Moses, that Moses was trusting the Lord. And then, of course, the Lord said, hey, Moses, tell these people go forward. So just remember, when it's time to take your stand, stand. But when it's time to go, the Lord says, hey, tell these people to go and move forward, and God will make a way. Always be ready to go. Always be ready to move when God says to move. And in this case, there's Moses. I'm sure he's probably thinking, what are we supposed to do? We're trusting the Lord. And then the Lord's going to say, good, but now tell these people to go. And I think that's, I hope you get that. I hope you understand that. So either way, then that's the Christian life. It's taking stands, it's moving forward, and we have to trust the Lord to be ready at all times to move when he says to move, right? All righty. So I hope that helps you. So we're going to close out today. Tomorrow will be our last day of this week, and then we'll just keep moving forward. How about that? So have a great Thursday, and we'll see you tomorrow.